What's up, everyone? Welcome to another week of Q&A. This time I'm running solo, and I'll be doing some work on the next artist tone. So how's everybody's week been doing? I'm drinking my morning cup of coffee and enjoying the day, listening to the wonderful lawnmower outside. It's that quarantine living. All right, so let's see. Boosts and Brews, what's going on? Cheers. Joris Dirks says hello from the Netherlands. Welcome. Glad you're making the stream, especially if it's kind of in your evening at this point. Zachary Novak, what's going on? How you doing? Gopan, things are good, man. Things are really good. I'm wearing this doofy set of headphones only for today because I'm actually getting some new headphones in from SonarWorks. So I'm really, really excited. Let's see what else is going on with me right now. I'm in the midst of getting my papers together to move to Finland, so everything's good. Yeah, Jay Lane, they're pretty doofy. They're monstrously big. I don't particularly enjoy them, but I think I bought them. I think like 5 or 6 years ago. My regular set of headphones broke. Like the band in the middle snapped, and then my other headphones, like the earpiece went out, so I'm out of both sets of headphones right now. Alan Davis, Morgantown, West Virginia here. What's going on, dude? How's it going? Mario says hello from Portugal. How's it going? Reed Lee, how you doing, dude? Says what's up from Germany. Joris Dirks, how's it going? Oh, you said hello earlier. That's right. 2 coffees deep. I feel that, dude. I already took care of business beforehand. Kyle Norwell says, how's it going, Steven? Pretty good, man. How you doing? These are just some like Razer gaming headphones. I've had these for forever, and they're not great. So today I'm not going to be doing a whole ton of mixing. So on the new artist tones, I have a lot to do as far as the drums are concerned. I just got the bass track from my friend Scott, so I'll be kind of putting that in. I already have like a templated tone that I kind of dialed in on my own bass, so I might do a little bit of tweaking on that, but not a whole lot. And then sort of arranging the guitar parts, or at least getting the tracks ready for me to start recording guitar. Chuck Hurstius asks, so what's it like working for Neural? Dude, it's awesome. I have a very unique position in the company as well, where most of you could boil my job down to customer relations, where I do stuff like this, the Q&A, and I do all the video content, not all the video content, but I do the video content that's meant to be entertaining and educational for the consumer and stuff like that. Oh, Reed, don't even worry about it. He says he's missing the streams lately. Been busy, dude. You're busy. They're always going to be up on YouTube. Um, yeah, don't even worry about it, man. I know there's probably going to be, because I think you said that you're in Germany. So after I move to Finland, I don't know exactly what time we're going to be doing the live streams at that point. So it might end up shifting to a time that's a little bit more conducive to your schedule. So hopefully that works out for you, man. Tamer, what's going on, dude? Sangeet asks, Steve, can you talk about blending drums and guitar tracks? Like I'm a complete beginner in mixing, so what would be helpful? I don't worry so much about the balance between the drums and the guitars so much as I worry about the drums and bass. Those are the things that I tend to really kind of focus on because the guitars hold up their own space in the EQ spectrum. Balancing especially like the kick drum, the low end of the kick drum with the low end of the bass, that's particularly a delicate balance that you have to strike. If you're just beginning and you want to learn how to mix, you may check out the URM Academy because I think that they have a great wealth of knowledge and resources to to teach beginners. That's where I got my start. So yeah, definitely check that out. But I'll kind of address that a little bit since I do have drums to do today. Chuck Hurstius, your content is super valuable. Can't wait for the QC deep dives, man, and how to tackle all kinds of tasks with it. Hoping to see you more on the Discord. Yeah, I definitely want to be more active on the Discord. I'm kind of feel a bit like an old man when it comes to Discord. I'm like, what are these kids doing these days on this Discord? No, I'm not that old. But yeah, I definitely want to be more active on the Discord and really kind of, lock it in with you guys more so conversationally and be able to help you all out with more of that kind of stuff. Obviously like the majority of my time, constructively is helping out the majority of people. So like if you guys have like video ideas or things that you want me to address, feel free to tag me in Discord or on the Facebook user group or something like that. Bring that to my attention and I'll see if that's something that people will kind of vibe with or something that'd be valuable for the general group. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be popping into the Discord and the Facebook group every now and again and chatting with everybody. So yeah, let's see. Valkyrie says, Razer headphone. Do you even audio? Bro. Yeah, no, I have two broken sets of headphones. You can kind of see them right up there, hanging up on my wall. Yeah. Good. Sangeet says, yeah, man, I love your Discord, especially the Neural DSP Discord is great. I met a lot of good people there. That's what we try to do. We've been really proactive in making sure that the community is very positive and very helpful to each other. So I appreciate that you're enjoying the time there. That just means the moderators that I chose are doing their job, Awesome. Boost and Bruce also said the Discord server has been great so far. Yeah, man, we really want to make sure that the user groups that we have don't fall into like the kind of toxic area that some groups tend to go into if they're not moderated correctly. So yeah, we want to keep the positivity going. We want to keep the helpfulness going. We want to be able to make sure that our community is interacting with each other in a constructive way that's going to be beneficial to everybody. So yeah, no, I'm glad that you guys are digging it. That's super good to hear. I'm really, really happy. Awesome. So, man, it's kind of sore. So how about we get into, thanks, Mr. Kiami. He says, hi, Steven, congrats on moving to Finland. Exciting times. Yeah, dude, honestly, it was a no-brainer at a certain point. I'm currently living in Los Angeles. I moved here probably about 3 years ago when before I started working for Neural. I was kind of pursuing that audio dream, musician's dream, kind of like wanted to be among the musicians network, as it were. And yeah, and eventually picked up with the neural gig. But the thing is, now living in LA is very, very different post pandemic. Not even post, but during pandemic, I guess. I don't know. It's still going on, because the illusion's sort of shattered. Everybody can do their own thing wherever they want to. Like so many gigs, like especially my own, is mobile. Like I could do my work literally anywhere. I love the lawnmower dude starts up like basically right at the beginning of my live streams almost every Wednesday. Usually doesn't last this long, but that's funny. But yeah, it was sort of a no-brainer. Back to the point of moving to Finland. It's, you know, I get to go live abroad, which I've never been outside of the country. I get to go live in Finland, which is awesome in itself. And I get to work with the guys at headquarters directly. So I was like, yeah, why not? Sid B Audio said, made it. What's up? How's it going, dude? Good to see you. Let's see. Oliver Massey, congrats on the move. Thank you. Sangeet or Sanjeet, I think it's Sanjeet. Does Neural tell you about the plugins of next artists that they're going to bring? Yes, I do know what the roadmap looks like, but I can't talk about it. So, yeah, that lawnmower was weird. Yeah, it's just, oh, dude, it gets even worse because like towards the later afternoon, evening, my downstairs neighbor has students come over. She teaches, I think it's trumpet, piano, voice. So like at times I'll be like trying to record or something like that. Then in the background here, and it's really obnoxious. You know, I'm going to stay away from QC questions too much for the moment. I don't know about people selling captures. Obviously, there's going to be some captures that are going to be like you have the ability to make them private and share them with individual people. But I don't know. I don't know exactly what that direction is going to look like in the future. Right now, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. So I'm going to kind of dance around that question at the moment. Oh, Sangeet. Okay, great. Great. Excellent. Cool. So how about we get into this artist tones? If you ask a question during when I'm working through, I'm not going to have the chat up. My wife is actually in the chat currently, and she'll be taking down your questions. If you want to ask a question, though, which is what's going to make it easy to pick it out, is if you... I'm going to put this up in the chat right now. How do question? Go ahead and leave a bracket, Q bracket, before you question so my wife can pick it out easily. So yeah, how do question? Matthias, you're not wrong, dude. He says, we need some Mick Gordon Doom tones, running some synths through different... Okay, this is cool. This is actually a really, really good segue. Probably in the month of like early March, because I'm going to be moving mid-March. Early March, I'm going to be hooking up with my buddy, Gabe. You guys have heard some of Gabe's work on. He helped me out with the Carol of the Bells cover I did last year before, whatever. Yeah, last year. I think it was last year. I did it with Paul Oz on guitar. Gabe Caraballo did the post-production on that, and he knocked it out of the park. So I'm actually going to be working with him doing some like Doom-esque songwriting, and we're actually going to do a live stream together where he's going to break down the production elements and how he used the neural products on a whole ton of synths and stuff like that. So I'm actually really, really stoked on that. So Matthias will definitely be posting about it once we get that date locked in. It's a good question. How do I make one lead to? Okay, so my wife will copy that down, and I will work on that in a minute. Actually, might as well just answer that right now. No, I'll take care of that in a minute. Okay, so cool. The next artist tones is going to be Muse's Hysteria. I don't know if you guys dig that. I personally do. I wanted to do a more bass-centric artist tones. Because obviously the guitar tones from Muse are fantastic. They're amazing. But this particular track, Hysteria, is just so... It's so bass heavy, especially at the very beginning where you have that. Okay, so you guys heard that. Everything's good. Boosts and brews. Okay, so I didn't tell the whole truth. I do still have the chat up on my far left, so I can kind of like see some comments. But Boosts and Brews, I was watching the interview with Courtney and Mike from Spirit Box while waiting for today's stream to go live. I'd love to see some Spirit Box tones too. You'll see them very, very soon, actually. I'm very, very excited because I'm going to be working with them on some stuff within the next week, I believe. So you're going to see some stuff online, and I'm actually really, really stoked for it. So yeah, so keep asking your questions. Remember, bracket Q bracket, so my wife can take them out of the can see them in the chat easily and just copy them onto my sheet here for me. Cool. So let's start with the drums. All right. I have my Superior Drummer up currently, but I don't know if I'm going to stick with that at the moment. Right now, I feel like I have a pretty decent drum tone. Although it does sound like, there we go. Why was that soloed out? Something was soloed out in here. So it sounded just like I think it was just the overheads were playing. Anyway. Now I won't be playing the actual track. Well, you guys won't be able to hear the actual track because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Copyright claims are different because I'm totally fine with the artist, getting monetization. We don't even monetize our videos, but I'm okay with the artists getting the monetization for any of the covers that I make or anything like that, because I like supporting them in that small way. But I'm kind of skirting the issue of copyright strikes, however, and not playing the official music. So you guys are going to hear my audio. So whenever I play the reference track, unfortunately, you guys aren't going to be able to hear it, but that's okay. So right now I'm kind of just working through setting things up. I got a couple of different tracks right now. Hide, make it active. So I got my drums here. I don't know if this is going to fit the mix though. Maybe it's possible. I could make that work. One thing I do want to try out, however, is I'm going to let's see. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to try one other drum set real quick and see how I can do this. Oliver Massey asks if you could be endorsed by any guitar brand. I'm assuming you're going to say brand. Who would you choose, and what style of guitar would you choose? Okay. Who could I be endorsed by? I mean, like, probably one of my favorite. There's a couple of brands out there right now that I'm absolutely in love with. I'll give you two currently. Hoppus is definitely one of my absolute favorites right now. I have one of their kind of Strat style 7-strings, the Magician. They as people are some of the most kind and wonderful human beings that I've met, and I love their work. It's all handcrafted in Germany. Another brand that I'm really digging right now, Strandberg. I've been rocking their Classic 6 for a bit now. That's probably what I'm going to end up using on this Artist Tones as well. I don't know if I could specifically pick a brand right now, to be honest. I kind of love them all. I want them all. Like Pokemon. I just want to collect them all. Okay, but this was actually a question that was a good one. Reed Lee says, how do I make my lead tones stand out by not overpower the rhythm guitars? Selective EQing is going to be your friend. Selective EQing or small volume dips or shifts, because the information that's needed for a lead guitar to come out is probably going to be around the presence area. So you can kind of cut some of that low mids and mid range around like 500, 300 hertz. You don't really need a whole lot of that, especially if you have full rhythm guitars going as well. So what I would do is I'll just pull up an EQ real quick just to show you. So like, say this is the spectrum that my rhythm guitar is holding on to. What I'll do is I'll usually kind of like high pass up to 150, maybe do a wide shelf and bring down like 300 hertz, and it's a wide Q, and maybe do like a presence boost around 3 kilohertz, or something like that. Kind of depends on how bright your guitars are anyway, but that's normally what I would do. Is I would have the presence area kind of sticking out just above the rhythm guitars, and then maybe cut the around 300 hertz, so that way it's not mixing with the rhythm guitars too heavily. So let's go ahead and take that off. That's what I would do. Another way you could do it as well is multi-band compression, parallel multi-band compression. So like basically what happens is when you would have like where's my rhythm guitar? Rhythm guitar bus. So here I have my rhythm guitar bus. What I would do is take a multi-band compressor like the Fab Filter, and then I would take my presence area kind of up to about, 600, 500? This sort of area that the lead guitar is going to kind of like stick to. I would input the guitar signal into this plugin, so that way the multiband compressor starts to kind of duck the rhythm guitars out of the way of the lead, so that way as the volume of the lead guitar comes up, the rhythm guitar comes down just slightly for those few milliseconds that the lead guitar needs its space. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, back to this. I need to get rid of Superior Drummer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Bobershell's signature kit with room sound, because that's a really great all-around. There you go. Instruments. Let's do basic rock and see where we're at. Coffee's good. Okay. Sometimes you have to mess around with the MIDI between these kits. It's kind of obnoxious, but that's all right. Key map. See, where are we at? Okay. Okay. Has a good amount of body to it, especially in comparison to Okay. I kind of like that. So that's... Cool. Now I just need to figure out where the where my hats are at. Raphael asks, could you talk about future updates for current neural plugins? Will they have better noise gates or additional presets? So there are a whole slew of updates scheduled. Maybe not scheduled, but I mean, like, they're in the works right now. I know the Parallax is coming out with an update very, very soon. So yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. Like, the Gojira came out, and it was on a... I don't know the technical terminology, but basically the structure of the coding was different in the Gojira, and it's far more optimized than our previous plugins. We are going to be moving a bunch of our plugins to that new structure, so that way they're less CPU intensive, but still with the same quality and clarity that you are used to. There is no additional charge. I don't know why people ask me about charging for updates, but no, you will not need to be you'll not need to pay for any updates. So yeah, we are updating a whole bunch of our plugins, and as far as like the noise gates and stuff like that, that's a thing that will be updated as well. We're constantly tweaking that particular variable in our plugins. So yes, we are going to be doing that sort of stuff. So. Easy guitar, how to make a big lead tone without a lot of harshness. A big lead tone is going to be what I was kind of mentioning before, is just like balance as between that and the rhythm guitars, because you don't want like the area of attention. So think of like your fader level as like area of attention. The tracks with the loudest fader level are going to be the things that are going to be in your face. So if you have both your rhythm guitars and your lead guitars at the same level, they're going to be fighting for space. So what I would suggest, the easiest way to do it would be to just bring your guitars down in level and make sure that you have like a decent amount of like delay and reverb, so that way it kind of washes out into a stereo image. Not so much that it becomes like an ocean of lead guitar sound, but like make sure that you're just balancing your rhythm guitars and your lead guitars properly, and that should be just fine. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, okay. Listening between the rock drums, my Superior drummer, and the Contact library that is the Bober shell, it definitely sounds far more rock and aggressive with Bober shells. So I'm just going to go ahead and just stick with that for the time being. So let's go ahead and hide and make inactive, and I'll just keep moving on from here. Now, like the real trouble is humanization. So what I do a lot of the time is work through MIDI. I'll grab like a Guitar Pro file, somebody's kind of already laid out the tabs for drums, and what I'll do is I'll go through and humanize these things. It gets a little tedious, but that's all right. It's worth it in the end. Okay, so this is my where's my okay, so there's my hats. check out something else. Kyle Norwell says, how do you go about dialing in the grind pedal and the Fortin plugins? It always ends up sounding too abrasive. With the grind pedal, I use that for like 7 and 8 strings, generally speaking, or maybe even potentially blues. You have to understand that the grind pedal really is a very aggressive pedal when it comes to EQing your sound. Just to give you a very quick demonstration, I'm just going to mute the output of this. I'll pull up Pro Q3 so you guys can see. I'll show you what it does specifically. Let's just do the Cali. That's fine. And then I'll do a noise signal. Is it a signal generator? Signal generator. Okay. So I'm just going to pump some pink noise through the Fortin Cali by itself. All right, so let's go ahead and show what's happening here. And this is a test I do quite often because I like seeing on the EQ spectrum generally what components are going to do to my signal. So this is with the grind on. This is with the grind off. So this is pink noise. This is all frequencies at equal power. No. Equal power. Pink noise is generally like some people use pink noise as a reference to mixing because they want to make sure that they're the pink noise is sort of like a balanced spectrum range. I don't remember the exact details, but anyway, so pink noise is my default. Going through the Pro Q3, grind really boosts that 1-2K region here, and then once you kind of push it even further, it's just going to get more extreme in that higher range. So you could kind of bring it down and then work through the Fortin and then kind of either bring back down the treble or something like that. Whereas the hex drive, you can see the difference between the grind and the hex drive, where the grind, let's do that at nominal levels. Okay. So you see that there's still like, okay, a little bit of boost of around 1K, but it really kind of cuts that more presence areas. Still a little bit cut around the low end, whereas the grind is a lot more aggressive with that low end because it's generally meant for 7 and 8 string guitars, that low end register, kind of meant to make it cut. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some things that you can do with the Fortin grind to adjust that. Like you could go back to your impulse responses, pull them away from the speaker cone to kind of take out that aggressive high end. Or just pull down the treble on your heads. There's a couple of different things that you can do. But yeah, you're going to have to probably compensate a little bit if you're using the Fortin grind. But again, it also depends on what guitar you're using, what pickups you're using, what the mix demands as well. Because the thing is, like, the answers I just gave are pretty moot if your grind pedal is going to be the thing that makes your guitars cut through the mix, right? So like a guitar tone in solo may sound harsh, but if it sounds okay in the mix, then it doesn't really matter. So take everything that I said with a grain of salt. Always compare your guitar tones to the mix in context. Don't solo them that often unless you have to like work through some problem areas or something like that. But always make sure that you're working through in context of the mix. Well, thank you for coming out to my Tech Talk. Occult Yude, how do I approach replicating an artist's guitar tones? How do you go about it? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? There's definitely several aspects I look at. Impulse responses, saturation types, guitar pickups. used, like the artist tones intervals, was definitely one of the most challenging because it was a very twangy, dry-ish kind of tone. The lead tone was much easier to dial in than the intro tone. The intro tone actually took me a bit, and that was because the pickups themselves have this sort of honkiness. Max. It's back to the question. Yeah, so the pickups had this sort of like honkiness, like this like a rare like 500 hertz kind of like twang to them, which I found like I went through a whole bunch of my pickups, and then the Strandberg is what came closest to it. So after I managed to get like the impulse responses dialed in and the pickup sounding right, everything else sort of kind of fell into place. Then it was just a matter of like more saturation, less saturation, more highs, more lows, more mids, whatever. And then going from there. It's a lot of like experimentation. So if you're going to be doing what I'm doing by replicating other guitar players' sounds, the best thing that you can do is pull up Spotify or something like that or whatever, and then just play against the track. Maybe put the reference track in just the left speaker and your guitar's in the right. And just sort of listen for the differences. Is it too bright? Is it too dark? Start with the very basic elements, and then just kind of go through and figure out what's different between them. So, Max, what's your signal chain going to be to highlight the vocal inhales? It's going to be compression. Lots and lots and lots and lots of compression. Sangeet, how do you adjust the noise gate in Plini and other plugins which don't have those Fortin pedals? Your noise gate tutorial on Fortin was really good and helped me a lot. The noise gate I generally leave at standard. To be very frank, I don't think of the noise gate too often. If you go back and listen to any like old school records, and it also depends on what style of music you're playing. There's a lot of like caveats, but noise is not necessarily a bad thing unless you're playing something that requires absolute silence. Like if you're playing like djenty kind of stuff that's like edit, like with that really like sharp cutoff, then it's just a matter of like automating to the part. So what you could do is you could take the gate and add this as a parameter. So let's see. Where's my gate? Gain. Gate. Here we go. So like in Pro Tools, what I can do is I can add my gate to plug an automation parameter. And then for parts that need absolute silence, I can just come down here, pull my gate. So let's say I need something that's really aggressive, like towards the very beginning. I can dial this up to be like, okay, I needed to cut it off at minus 60 dB. But that's too aggressive for other parts, so it's actually kind of like cutting into some of the sounds. Then I would automate that back down to normal. So that is an option to do if you're doing it sort of in this song context. If you are playing live, take just the best that you can to make sure that your noise is not that bad. But I really wouldn't worry about it so much. I don't. I really don't. It's not something that haunts my sleep, All right, let's go ahead and get back to this. Remove. Okay, so Tim Hamelink, this is actually a really, really good topic because I see this quite often. He asks, any tips on transferring a preset that sounds good on its own, but not towards a mix? I'm struggling on this part, sometimes having a preset that sounds awesome on its own, but sounds horrible, mushy in a mix. My dude, this is such a common occurrence. Because it's easy to dial in something that is pleasing to the ears in solo or out of context, But then you bring it into the mix and like it's all of a sudden just like this bloated mess, as you said, kind of mushy or kind of like too low end heavy. And that has to do with just balancing your EQ spectrum. So like if I was to look at my template guitar, okay, so I don't have it here. Normally, like on my guitar template, what I'll have is like a dynamic Q around 200, 300, 350 range, because I just know that this area tends to you're going to want to tend to like scoop this out just a little bit, or make sure that it's dynamically in line going, or it dynamically going to be kind of compressed a little bit so that way it falls in line with everything else in the mix, because that range is conflicting with so many other instruments, because you have to balance them all out and make sure that the listener's ear isn't getting fatigued or overwhelmed by a specific frequency. So that's like a really big thing when you're especially when you're starting out, it's just finding out what's gonna work well. So to give you some like tips or hints on making a preset work for your mix is bring the preset in. And you can do either one of two things. You can address that within the plugin. So like if I was to pull up, let's just say I got Make Active. Now this is, okay. So let's say I have the archetype Nolly on both of these. I'm getting kind of off topic here, but just to give you sort of a general range of what I'd be looking at doing. So let's say I have two guitar tracks here, and they are, let's see, my Gojira presets, right? They sound pretty cool by themselves, but then in the mix, it's just the mix becomes tubby and gross. Then I would go to my EQs here, because for some reason I did 125 hertz, 6 dB boost on this. I don't quite remember why. Maybe what I was doing was I was playing along with the track and soloing my own guitar playing out, and then just I wanted to have sort of a basic mirror to what was going on. However, that does not start with the mix, because you can see it's Gojira rhythm start. This is generally what I just kind of like dialing in a tone that sounds to my ear close to what the original sound is. So then I would bring my presets in. I would use this internal EQ first. So I would duck out 250, maybe a little bit of 500, and then listening in context again and just adjusting as I would need to. Don't take it out like all the way, so or just too much. Kind of make some conservative EQ moves to where you almost don't hear the problem area anymore, and then move on. Tackle something else. You could also, on your rhythm buses, take your Pro Q3 or Pro Q2 or whatever EQ you're using, and then just cut out that 250 to 350 range, because that's going to be that area that's problematic for the rest of the mix. All right, let us return to, are we still on the, yeah, we're still on that scene, great. That's what I was doing. Okay, where is my... Okay. Why does everything sound mono? Is everything not panned how it's supposed to be? Correct. That's awesome. All right, that's a little bit better. What's up, Epic Chicken? How you doing, dude? All right, so remember, if you want questions answered, because I'm not looking at the chat while I'm doing this sort of stuff, if you want questions answered in the chat, go ahead and put a bracket, Q bracket in before your question, and make sure, so that way my wife can pick them out and put them in my Google Sheets next to me. So I'll put this in one more time. So bracket, Q bracket, how do question. Okay, so how do question. That's that how do, that do question. I feel better about this. Where did my grid go? I don't know what mix window. EQ curve. What the fuck is that? I'm finding out new things. Edit window views. Oh, well, that's fine. All right, so some of these hits got a little off, but that's okay. So we're just gonna scoot some of this back and forward. Figure out where you got left off. Okay, I need my grid. Where'd it go? What happened to it? Am confused. Bars and beats, yeah. Marker, tempo meter, key chords. Why is that grayed out? All right. Gonna do this real quick. Google, Pro Tools grid disappeared. Edit window to the right of the main count. Okay. What? Oh, there we go. Grid. There we go. Huzzah. All right, so something in there sounded a little funky. There we go. So that's that. That. How many of you guys absolutely love mixing or love editing? Best. Makes you real. All right, here's where it falls off just a little bit. Oops. Let's go ahead. There we are. Anybody else? This is the stuff that I have to do for you guys. You don't even know. It's like listening to the same take a million times over, figuring out, okay, scooch this way, do this that way, all right, this that way. I mean, this is a good take. So I actually had my buddy Scott Moda record the bass for me because I figured, why not? I like involving my friends. They do good stuff. Why not? See, and you start lagging behind just slightly. There. All right. What questions we got? Okay. The Fat Bear. Why is my archetype Nolly and Pliny sounding crackling? Sorry, that's gotta look at this. The Fat Bear. Why is my archetype Nolly and Pliny sounding crackling, even if the buffer size is all okay? Depends on your buffer size, because if it's crackling, the buffer size is too small. So it's like if you have something that's, if your buffer size is like 90 something or other, it's like 20. If it's like a super low number, then that's like going to tax your CPU harder. I typically sit my buffer size around 256 or 128, depending on what I'm doing. Maybe smaller if I'm doing super technical stuff and I need to be really on time. But typically I leave it 128, 256, and that kind of is good. If you are running a session that has a ton of plugins, it doesn't matter what your buffer size is, because if you're running a ton of plugins at once, that's going to tax your CPU all the more, because there's a whole bunch of plugins working on your CPU. So what you could do, like if I wanted to say I was done with the bass, I could then take the tracks that are active and I can just freeze them. And then, yeah, so like my synth bass, I don't really need my synth bass to be running this entire time. So what I can do is I can just take this, freeze it. It'll temporarily process the audio that's coming out of it and render it as just a plain waveform. So that way it's taking up less CPU. So that could be what it is your CPU is being taxed by too many plugins at once. There could be other programs running in the background, because the thing is like Dropbox or Discord or other programs that you have running at the same time could be running your CPU really hot and you don't know it. So if you're on PC, open up Task Manager, and you should be able to figure that out. If not, hit up support at neuraldsp.com. They are awesome. They're wizards. They will help you figure your shit out. So the Fat Bear, please, a lesson on mixing and mastering. I don't know, man. Like, so I could do that sort of stuff, but there's already so much out there. And for me, my position with Neural is more focused on the guitar elements. Like, I have no problem answering questions on mixing during these live streams. I actually really enjoy it, because it's just people just shooting the breeze and just, whatever. So I don't mind that so much. But yeah, as far as like tutorials and stuff like that, there's a lot of other companies that have that kind of covered. I'm gonna have to fix this MIDI for sure, but that's okay. I'm actually feeling pretty good about where I got to with the drums, and I'll have to go through and do all the bass stuff as well. So, all right, back to. Am I still on my scene? Yes, I am. Great. All right, so there's that. Editing is fun. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. No, it's not. Basically what it is this is a good take. I'm just tightening up the playing just a little bit to get it on grid with the drums. There's nothing worse than having your instruments sound sloppy. Like, as I said, this is a good take. He recorded this himself, but it kind of moves in and out of the click just a little bit, so I'm just tightening it up again. What about the drum? Okay. Okay. Let's just go ahead and maxed out for the time being. But here's the thing. These need to... This is a really cool thing, so you can... let's see... Quantize. So what you do is you randomize the quantization, not too much, but basically what you want to have happen on, like you want them to flam slightly. You don't want both hits to be exactly on the grid. A lot goes into just making sure that they are slightly off from each other. So you could do let's try something like this. You can go in and kind of like change them at will as you want. You can see that I already did that for the snares here. Basically, it's going to sound like... Right? So let's see. It's this. You hear the difference? It's really, really subtle. So you have these two hits hitting at the same time versus just slightly off. And you can make them a little bit more extreme or not, because like rock music is going to be a little bit more loose than not, you know? There we go. I might even bring these first hits down just... There we go. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah. this is what I do. There. If you guys have ever wondered what work goes into these artist tones, this is it. This is the stuff that I do. Sure, yeah, the Fat Bear, just basics for, you know, for beginners. Again, as far as just the tutorials go, like, I'm cool. Like, 'cause I do want to do more of these types of live streams. That way I can address your guys' questions directly. Because again, it's like if I did mixing tutorials, like basics, beginner stuff, like I think that would just kind of step on toes that are of people that are out there already that we're affiliated with too. So yeah, I kind of just stick to my own lane. You know, I like doing this sort of stuff, and I feel like that's where our audience is. You know. Coffee's good. Change velocity. Let's go ahead and subtract 1. And again, we're going to randomize this by like 3 or 2. I just want a little bit of variation between the hits. So like the very first one, I want heavy. It's very subtle, but it kind of makes all the difference when it comes to, you know, programming your drums to be human or not, you know? So once I start getting these patterns down and I start really enjoying the way that they sound, that's when I can start da, 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 da. All right, let's go ahead and unmute this. Oops. There we go. All right, I think this is where it gets, is this in the song? I don't know. I think that's the first verse. So I'm just going to leave that section alone for the time being. So yeah, Tom Bowes, I'm using the Bober Shell set. Yeah, Ancient Mariner. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, dude? Yeah, so I've tried out a couple of different sets that I own. And the one that sounds the best for this, I feel, is the Bober Shell kit. It's so good. I've just been rocking the, it's just the basic rock preset, actually. You know, Seosin's awesome. Bober Shell, he really knows his shit. So yeah, just basic rock preset. I think I've adjusted 1 or 2 things. I think I still have like an earlier version of this, so I had to pan all the instruments out, like so the rack toms, floor toms, hats, rides, etc. However, it just sounds good. Like this is just like it's just a rock kit, and it's just very anthemic, and it just works for this mix really well. All right, so like this part is gonna have to come down in velocity pretty heavy. But man, I'm actually pretty stoked on where it's at right now. All right. So any more questions? I'm kind of starting to wind down a little bit. I think I'm actually going to take a little bit of a break because my ears are definitely fatigued at this point. Listening to these drums. That is also a good tip for you guys. If you guys are, I've seen it a bunch in the Facebook groups, definitely be sure to take lots and lots of breaks when you're doing mixing, especially if you're using headphones. I'm actually getting a set of headphones in from SonarWorks, I think tomorrow. But even then, it's like a really, really nice set of headphones, but I'm going to have to take freaking breaks because I don't want to lose perspective on my mixes or my tones. So any final questions before I start wrapping things up? Go ahead and leave them in the comments. Bracket, Q, bracket, so we can grab them from the chat for us. My lovely wife is taking care of that. You know, Tombo, so he said, did you enjoy the weekend at Super Bowl? Thought it was cool having a live band and singing live for once. I actually didn't watch it. I'm not a sports guy. I followed MMA on and off for the last several years. But I don't really follow football too much. The thing that I did notice was the controversy. I know The Weeknd peripherally, and I know he's a super talented dude, and I'm actually like really, really glad that they did a live performance with actual singing and no vocal backing track, no lip syncing or anything like that. I think that's really cool. It was more about the performance rather than the spectacle, because I feel like previous performances were more, or previous Super Bowls halftimes were more about the spectacle than the performance, which is fine. Some people just enjoy watching people perform, like that's, it's its own thing. And I'm not so elitist that I'm gonna, talk shit about that. Cause I don't care enough, really. I don't care enough about that. Because if people want to lip sync so that way they give a good deliverable performance to people, that's fine. I don't care so much about that. But I do like that, The Weeknd was like, hey, I'm gonna sing, I'm going to perform, I'm going to dance, and do everything that I need to do to entertain the crowd. And I like that. I think that's really, really cool. Cool to see. So yeah, I didn't watch it myself yet. I've kind of just put it off because I got other things to do, man. But yeah, it's been interesting watching the divisiveness of of that particular performance. I don't know. There's so much outrage on the internet nowadays. I kind of tend to just stay away from it. Yeah, that's about all I got to say on that. It's just I try to keep my psyche as free of that sort of stuff as possible. I'm sure you guys noticed that I've posted far less in the Facebook groups, and that's partially just because not that our Facebook group is divisive or toxic or anything like that. It's actually a really, really great place. But my just general feed is full of stuff that I'd rather not look at. That doesn't actually add anything to my day. So I just kind of have decided just to take a step back from it. So yeah. Long story short, I think it's really cool. I'll check it out eventually, probably in the next couple of days. But yeah. Let's see. Any other questions, my dudes? Are we calling it a day at this point? We got Ultimate, have you checked out the custom app icons posted on Discord? I haven't actually. I think I talked about Discord a little bit earlier in the stream. I definitely want to be a little bit more active in the Discord soon, but I haven't really dived into it. Discord is still sort of new to me. I haven't used it a whole ton. I've used it some for gaming, because my buddy and I have started a little gaming channel where we just play some games together. But I haven't dived into the nitty gritty on how to actually use it to its utmost. Yeah. Kahal says archetype loathe. I don't know if that's happening. And I can't talk about it if it is anyway. So, you know, we do what we do. All right. Yeah, I mean, if there are no more questions, I think we'll just go ahead and call that a day. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you like seeing me kind of work on stuff as I go, if you enjoy the process, if you enjoy like just kind of hanging out and just like participating and asking questions while I'm doing this, then definitely let me know in the Facebook groups or on Discord or anything like that. If you want to see more things like this, this is generally just an easier thing I can do for the live streams as well. And not only that, but also really just enjoy like spending time with you guys and getting to, answer your guys' questions directly. It helps. Eric Vasquez, Steve, Mac or PC for music production? I mean, I've heard Mac is amazing for music production as far as like editing and like their workhorses. I'm currently using a PC, but only because that's what I'm used to. I can switch over to Mac before, and I have, especially when going into somebody else's studio and they have a Mac. You just adapt or die, So I think that either one is fine as long as you can have one that's powerful enough, especially on the PC side, to run your sessions. Colton Chapman says those headphones are fit for mixing in outer space. It's true, man. They're pretty ridiculous. I don't like them. I really don't like them, and they're not accurate at all. I'm kind of just guessing at some point. I've been listening to some music, so I'm not totally lost on their reference right now. But they're not great. I'm getting some tomorrow, so I'm really happy to get those in. But anyway, back to the Mac or PC debate. Either or, really. Whatever you are used to will help. Like, I am very much used to the PC operating system, so that's sort of where I went with it. What else? Yeah, Mac is great and is a kind of industry standard for music production and editing. So you can't go wrong with Mac. You do have to get a PC that is of generally equivalent quality and price range. Like, some people are like, oh, I bought this $1,000 PC, but it's not running my sessions. It's like, yeah, well, you don't have enough like high-end stuff. Like, to give you an idea, my specs on my PC, I have the Intel i9 9900K. It's an 8-core processor. I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. I have the RTX 2080 GPU. I have an SSD, 1 terabyte SSD, and several other like 3 terabyte HDD. So like my rig is a beast. It is absolute beast. And I knew I would have to have an absolute beast to run the sessions I do. And even then I still have to freeze some tracks or like conserve CPU. So like, yeah, I kind of went on a rant there. So hopefully that all helps. That's a good one. Tudor Adrian says, would love to see your take on In Flames tone from Colony Clayman era. That would be actually really cool. I dig me some In Flames, so I could definitely do something like that. All right. What games do you play on the Beast? Asks Ancient Mariner. I do get to play games sometimes. Okay, I see your message, good Sir Bonzo. I will get to that in a moment. Get back to the gaming question. So I've been playing Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. in my spare time. And then on the gaming channel, we've been playing The Forest. We're going to play some Valheim soon, as well as a couple of other games, maybe Worms. So I get to play occasionally. My wife has actually been like supportive of me taking some time just to like play some video games at the end of the night. So yeah, she's been awesome in that sense. Nice. +1 for Clayman from Red Fox. So Good Sir Bonzo says, would love to see a Cynic Artist Tones video if they haven't been mentioned yet. Yes. Okay. I love Cynic. I love Cynic so much, and that's one that I've been eyeballing for quite a long time. I don't know which track I would do of theirs though. And it would have to be like, I couldn't do a top 5 of theirs because that's just too much material to learn. But so I could do like a single track off of one of their albums. If you have a suggestion on a track that you would want to see covered on the channel, yeah, click it, dude. Yeah, let me know. Put it in the chat. I'll write it down real quick before we call it a day on the stream. So. Yeah, Ancient Mariner. I'm doing some gaming on the side. Just blow off some steam with some friends. See what we can get going on the Twitch. If you want to check it out, Facing Worlds Gaming. I'll just put it in with my own. If you want to check it out, go for it. Nice. Yeah. So Good Sir Bronzo says, I suggest Humanoid, their latest single from 2018. Yes. Okay. I'll check that out. Yeah, I'm excited to do that. I'm actually really excited to do this Muse one. Peter says, would be cool to see you do something totally different like Neurosis or High on Fire, man. Sludge, but well done as all your tones. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm true to my word. I'm going to write this down. My wife is probably laughing at me right now because she knows my memory is shit. So I legitimately have to write down these suggestions. Otherwise I won't remember. So, let's see. I need to do Cynic, Humanoid, and then High on Fire, Neurosis. Sick. So those will go in my notes. That way I can look at them later. All right. Yeah, cool. So we're about 20 minutes after. We're just going to go ahead and call that a day. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. I appreciate you guys just kind of hanging out, watching the process, and asking me some really great questions. Actually, there's some really awesome ones today. Again, this is one of my favorite things that I get to do on this channel. Okay, so Geo Reed Tides. I don't know if I said that correctly. La Reed? Geo, what's up? Says, was hoping to see you do intervals with Nolly and Pliny like Aaron used on the last album. It would be great to at least get some pointers for those. I think that you can actually grab Aaron's presets for at least the Fort and Cali. I think he has some presets out there. You might want to check that out. They're either going to be on the Neural page or maybe check out his socials or something like that. If I find them, I might even just post them in the Facebook group. So I'll look for those and see what's up. Yeah, we'll call it a day. Very quickly, the Fat Bear off-topic question. What do you think about the band Iron Maiden? I really want a new album. Iron Maiden's classic, dude. You can't get. I mean, they're awesome. There's not really much else to say about them. If you want to see an artist tones of them, that would be actually kind of interesting. I may look into that as well. Let me write this down. You know, it's a matter of what's going to please everybody and also educate. Anyway, so let's just call that a day. thank you all so much for hanging out. As I mentioned before, this is definitely one of my favorite parts. If you guys enjoy these sorts of live streams where you get to just like hang and chat and ask questions, let me know. I mean, definitely I've seen like the likes and everything on the channel, and that's the likes on the video. That's always really helpful to let me know what you guys enjoy. Yeah, the Kali Geo. Yeah, it was the Kali. You could probably still do some on the Pliny, but yeah. So let me know if you like these sorts of things. You want me to schedule more of these, because again, I really do enjoy doing this because I get work done as well as interact with you guys. So it's kind of a nice use of my time. Yeah, we'll go ahead and call that a day. So I appreciate y'all hanging out. Good Sir Bonzo, I'm glad you made it as well. Yeah, thank you all so much. We'll see you in that next one in a week. Have a good one, guys.